Go.
Aim down at Kitty. Well, as you can see, I think the whole class is here today. Kitty, what do you think? Should we start? Huh? Should we start? Oh, you'd rather lick yourself, huh? Give yourself a bath. Well, you can never stay too clean during this time of coronavirus. I think he does wash his hands, or paws in this case. Very good, good hygiene. Remember to wash your hands and everything with hot water and soap. Okay, we're back. We're in part 4 now of the early Middle Ages. Wednesday, tomorrow, you're going to be having the exam. It's going to be a little different. This time, I'm going to give you till 3 o'clock to finish your exam. You won't be doing it during that particular collegial period, but you'll have time whenever you do, after lunch or whatever works for you. But get her in before 3 o'clock. You have plenty of time. The reason is because we're running out of time this year, school-wise, and Ms. Walworth needs her time for English, and I need my time to get through all this. We're going to have, several lessons now from now until the end, trying to get through at least as much material as we can, and so I hope that, you appreciate it, and you're enjoying, what we're doing with the information. All right? So, Wednesday, test, early Middle Ages. Giddy up. Today is a day that you were glad that you were born. The reason, you say, is because today you're going to learn about the most feared tribe the world has ever seen. That particular group of people who are feared by meat packers. Colby, are you hearing that? They pack meat. They're I think in I don't know, is it Madison or La Crosse, or is it La Crosse Packers? I can't remember. Certainly a bear is of no risk of succeeding with the Vikings. A lioness cub from Detroit, a little cub, a little lioness, I don't think that has a chance when you're looking at the feared Vikings. Now, to give you a history on this most feared team, they ruled in strength from approximately 800 to 1000 AD. Now, keep in mind, some of you, I see you snickering already, Levi, that you're going, that's only 200 years. Rafe's going, yeah, but look what they did in that 200 years. Good job, Rafe, you're on it. This 200-year period, Josie, do you have it down? Please get it down. Samuel, you got it? Okay. 200 years changed the course of our known world. They originated in a region called Scandinavia. Scandinavia, if Ryan was at the map, we would know includes Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Denmark. That region of Northern Europe called Scandinavia. That's where they're from. Okay? They prospered during a cold period in climatic change. As a result, they needed food because in that region of Scandinavia, it was cold and their farming methods weren't adequate to support their life. And so they would go on search and destroy missions to gather food and whatever riches they could acquire in Europe. Okay? They went by several names. The Northmen, the Norsemen, the men from the North, okay, Scandinavia, North, and one that you maybe have heard of, but never knew its origin. That's why we come to school today, folks, called the Berserkers. The reason they're called the Berserkers is because when they would attack a village, the villagers would say they went, you guessed it, berserk. They were just filled with adrenaline, and and they would go attack these villagers with that testosterone and adrenaline going. Once again, the most feared. Okay? The Vikings were truly the world's foremost explorers. Keep in mind, this is a time period when people thought the earth was flat, when they would go to those uncharted waters of sorts. They went into and did things that no one did up to this point in world history. We talk about Lewis and Clark, Marco Polo, Neil Armstrong. These guys are the original rock stars. They're the ones that did things that no one would ever do. Okay? We'll get to that in just a second. They were pagans. Pagans are people that what? Have no organized religion. They don't believe in that spiritual life. They don't have an organized faith. They believe in, let's say, just idols or false things that the church would say. Okay? The reason, very simply, is because they had no Roman contact. They were too far extended north from Britannia, where Julius Caesar was. Okay? Now, how did they pull off these attacks that were the most feared by all? The key was their ships. If you remember the ships that were built by the Athenians, they navigated in those islands. They drafted low. Similarly with the Vikings. They attacked generally up rivers and coastlines in the North Sea, okay? In that region of the North Atlantic and North Sea. They would sail up, let's say, the Rhine or the Danube. And before the word could get out that the villagers are being attacked, they would already have gone through the village, taken the items, stolen whatever they wanted, and they were usually gone. Most of their attacks lasted less than 30 minutes. So quick, in and out, quiet, sleek. The reason is, once again, their ships. Like the Athenians, they understood they were longer and sleeker and fast. These were the ships that had, remember my artwork, and then they'd have like a little dragon's head or something on them. Okay? You've seen photos of those, or drafts of those, or paintings of them, I'm sure. They're long and sleek, and they would then go up into these shallower regions to attack before anyone would ever know. And they were fast. No other ships could keep up with them. The ships had anywhere from 100 to 300 soldiers or Vikings, attackers, berserkers, if you will, per ship. So they're rather large, but long and sleek. 72 oars with massive sails. That's what they would use to quickly get up current. Remember, those rivers are flowing into the sea, so they would take those oars with the winds and get up there. And so they're well positioned for these attacks. So this is how they started attacking and acquiring the wealth. Their number one object to rip off or to attack were the churches. The reason, they knew the gold was there. In the tabernacle, the chalices, they didn't have any problem going into churches and ripping off the candlesticks and the chalices and the goblets, okay? That's what they did. People looked and went, oh my gosh, they're savages, they're berserkers. And of course they were the most feared with their horns on their helmets. Oh, it just gets me going just thinking about next September with the opening of the NFL. Anyway, 982, you maybe have heard of some of these guys. Eric the Red Erickson led the Vikings expanding west. Okay? Eric the Red discovered and explored Greenland. Now, we know about Greenland, don't we? Ryan, point to it on the map, please. Thank you. Good. It's that big island. Okay? Greenland, you're right, kind of sucks. It isn't green. It's just pretty much iced. Well, the reason... Kitty, are you falling asleep here? Wow. Am I that boring? I'll try and spice it up a little here, guys. I thought the Vikings were a lot more exciting than this. Evidently, you know, he's needing to go to bed or something. Take a nap after class. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, Greenland. We know Greenland's icy. Okay? What did Eric do? Eric said, no, it's Greenland to throw people off. Because what island did the Vikings obviously know before this that was discovered previously? That they did establish communities of trade on. Smaller. Sounds like it wouldn't be nice, but it's actually pretty cool. The capital, give you a hint, Reykjavik. Oh, Aiden, look at the hands go up. Yep, you got it. You guys down, big fellas. Kaylor's going, duh! Here, I get it, you guys. Iceland, you're right, good. Yeah, they based out of Iceland and then discovered Greenland. Eric's son, 1030 AD, Leif Erikson. So Eric's a dad, Eric the Red. Leif Erikson, he gathered some troops and they sailed further west. And they hit a large landmass as well. That large landmass they called Newfoundland, Newfoundland, on the coast of what? Canada. That's right. Christopher Columbus, guys, is a wannabe. These guys did it 500 years before. They came to the New World. Boom! Put the flag. Long live the Vikings. Ooh! You know how they blow that before the team comes out of the tunnel? That's their charge to go berserk. And they met the natives there. I can see the hands now. But why don't they get credit, Mr. Klein? Well, I'll tell you why. They don't get credit because it was not a permanent settlement. That settlement that Leif Erikson established died off because they didn't have trade. They didn't have a continued trade, and it wasn't until Columbus' time in the Renaissance when our civilization was ready to have permanent settlement with trade. But the Vikings were there. Now you may ask, well, Mr. Klein, Minnesota's in the middle of the continent. How did the Vikings, what does that have to do? Aha! I'm glad that Evan asked that question. Thank you, Evan. The reason is because some people believe, remember we talk about the Easter Bunny. We talk about Santa Claus. Oh, Alex, what is it you talk about? The what? Oh, the she-wolf. You're right. Thank you, Alex. I believe, okay, it's because a stone was found in central Minnesota, outside of a small town called Alexandria, after Alexandria, right? Okay, Alexandria. And the writing on this particular stone was believed to be from the Vikings. Aha. In central Minnesota. How did the Vikings even think of maybe getting there? Aha! What did I say they are? They are explorers. Newfoundland, the St. Lawrence River, the Great Lakes, brrr, ending all the way west to modern-day city called Duluth. Duluth is what? In, you guessed it, Minnesota. The Vikings were farmers. They went to fertile lands in central Minnesota and farmed. Therefore, we call the most feared the Minnesota Vikings. With that, we're going to pause for the commercial of the test. Question. For those of you that are watching this, you're going to get a freebie. The question on the test, for those of you that aren't just Googling answers, that are actually learning. You can't get this stuff in books, guys. This is rich, man. Okay? The question is going to be, what animal is depicted in the carving behind the whiteboard? And of course, that animal is the team from Chicago, the Bears. It's a bear. That's the wood carving. On the test, write it down so you remember on your notes, so you can remember. There you go. A+ for you guys on that one. Don't tell those wannabes. There it is, though, the answer. All right, so what happened to the Vikings? Short-lived. Boom, boom, quick rise and fall. The reasons for the decline, we're going to find out in our next unit. Europe figured out how to protect the estates, the kingdoms. They figured out how to protect from raiding tribes. Number 2, and this is a question mark, some people believe Christianity was spread and they started feeling guilty about ripping off the churches. And number 3, warmer climate came in and promoted farming in their own land, so they didn't have to continue these raids, these Viking raids for these 200 years. All right? So, email me any questions. Test on Wednesday, test tomorrow, and we end it with the Vikings, and we're going to continue our next unit with the Middle and High Middle Ages, with what happened here with protection. What's the landscape of Europe looking like? Till then, love you guys, miss you, and have a great day. Bye.